Hello, I'm Charlotte Baldinger, and I'm the librarian at Seward Memorial Library, and welcome to Make It Wednesdays. I'm here today to lead you through a craft involving paper plates. Several weeks ago, I did one with paper plates, and we made a slithering snake and a sliding snail together. Today, we're going to do something else. You should have picked up a packet like this at the library. And if you do not have one of these packets, some of these things you can find at your home and put together yourself. In the packet were direction sheets that look like this. And in the packet, you would also find a paper plate. Excuse me. Find a paper plate that looks like this with a heart, and a paper plate that's black that looks like this. And those are going to be the main part of our project today. You should also have found in there a fuzzy ball, or maybe yours is brown, a brown or green ball, and also a black circle and some skinny strips, 4 skinny black strips that look like this. You should have 4 of them. And also some googly eyes. And I'll pull those out. A pair of googly eyes that look like this. Okay, in addition to the items that are found in your packet, you also are going to need a few things from around your home. And those are crayons or markers, scissors, tape, and glue. If you are starting from scratch and did not have one of our kits, you are going to need a hole punch because you will be taking a plain ordinary plates and cutting out the centers and punching holes around those. So in the kit, I provided a black plate with some yellow or perhaps white yarn wrapped around it, depending on which kit you picked up. I tied my yarn to the back of through one of the holes and tied it in back on this plate. If you're not comfortable with doing that, you could also just tape it on the back. And I'm calling the white side the back. So here we have a plate with holes around the perimeter and a big hole in the center. Kind of looks like a donut. But we are going to make a spider's web, the home for a spider. Spiders do not go to school. They are not taught how to make webs. So there is no right or wrong way to make this web. I'm going to let you use your imagination, but you can go back and forth, in and out, up and down, up and down, back and forth, around. I'm going to start by going from the top to the bottom. And one thing we'll have to talk about is patience. In this project, we have yarn, and yarn can get tangly, messy, but if you are patient, it gets shorter and shorter and less messy. So in the beginning, it might be a little more difficult, but that's okay. As you work, it is going to get easier and easier. So I'm going to go to the bottom and go through this hole. And I'm going to turn it to the back side, and I'm going to put my yarn in an empty hole next to it and pull it through to the black side. And now I think I'm going to make a crisscross, an X. So I am going to go over to the hole across from where I started on the black side and pull it through to the white side. Oh, look what I have, an X. Now on the white side, I am going to fill another empty hole next to that one. And what we really want to do is fill all the holes. And some of the holes, if our yarn is long enough and we have enough holes, we might fill more than once. I'm going to go across to another empty hole and kind of make another X. I'm now on the white side. I'm going to go over to the next empty hole and pull it through to the black side. And I'm going to go over to this empty hole across. I'm doing them next to each other because then I can get more weaving done with my yarn. Now I'm going to go next to the next empty hole. Kind of looks like I'm making little, if you look on this side, it kind of looks like I'm making dashes. Okay, now I'm going to go across. This weaving almost looks like a flower or a star. Every spider does different webs. And if you are interested in learning about spiders and what they do, Seward Memorial Library has books about spiders. You just go to the section where animals are, and it's on with the insects. Okay, I'm going to go to the next empty hole. How's your yarn doing? Is it staying untangled? It's getting shorter. I'm going to go across to an empty hole. I'm starting to have fewer and fewer empty holes. How about you? I'm going to go on the white side to the next empty hole next to it that's empty. And now I'm going to go down. Oh my! All of my holes have been filled and I still have yarn left. So now we're going to do some double holes. The holes are big enough to have 2 pieces of yarn. So I think I'll go over to this empty hole, this hole next door. And I'm going to go down. A lot of mine have been across, but I think I'm going to go down. Maybe I'll make kind of a square look. But you can do whatever you want. Now I think I'll go over to this hole on the white side, the one next to it. If you do the ones right next door, then you don't, you'll get more use out of your yarn. You'll have more yarn to use. Now I'm going to go down. The end of your yarn could be fraying a little bit. If it gets real awkward or difficult, you can always cut the end off. You get your scissors and cut that off. See, mine's getting a little frayed. Now I'm going to go over here to the empty hole next door. Oops, I shouldn't say empty. They all have something in it. But putting 2s inside now. So there's 2 yarns coming and going. And I'm kind of making a square. I'm going to cross that way. But you can be doing zigzags. You can be doing whatever you want. I'm going to go right next door, pull it through from white side to the black side. My yarn's getting shorter. Don't have very many more length. Don't have much length left to put in the holes. Okay, so right at this point, what we're really trying to do is use up our yarn so that we can finish the web. Went to the hole next door on the white side, pull it up to the black. I think I'll go over here. I think I'm going to make like a triangle. I'm going over to this hole. Yeah, I'm going to try and find a hole. Maybe I'll go over to this I'm going to go over to this hole because it only has 1 piece of yarn in it. How are we doing? Is anybody done with theirs yet? Okay. Oh, I have hardly any yarn left. What should I do? I'm going to have to make a very short. I think I'll just go, not much yarn left. Are you in that same situation? I'm going to go to this hole, and I think I'm going to be done. Oh my, I have this little tiny piece. Is that what you have? Do you have just a little bit left? Well, I'm going to take my Scotch tape, take a piece of Scotch tape, and I'm taping it down. You were so patient. You were so patient, and look what happened. While you were very carefully going from hole to hole, we have made a home for a spider. I think you'll like this. How does yours look? Do you have crosses in it, X's, stars looking, boxes? Well, I see all different shapes in mine. But now it's time to pull out the black circle, the little paper black circle, and that was in the kit, or you will have to make a little black circle. It's about the size of a quarter. And in the center of it, I'm going to put a little puddle of glue. Now, you don't have to use this kind of glue. Maybe your mom has a glue stick at your house. Let's see. I can get the glue to come out. I haven't used my glue for a while. Okay, I've got making a puddle of glue. See? And I am going to put 4 little skinny strips like this across the puddle so that I have pieces hanging out. Got 1, 2, might need a little more glue. I'll show you how it looks when I get done. Okay, 3, my 3rd strip, and now my 4th strip. And it looks kind of like this. You put your 4 strips across on the puddle of glue. Okay, and I'm going to turn it over. I've got all these little legs sticking out. If you count, you should have 8 legs sticking out of that circle. And in the center of that black circle, I'm going to put a puddle, another puddle of glue. Okay. All right. And I think I'm going to have a green. Mine is a green fuzzy spider. He's got kind of a big body. Mine's a green spider. I don't know what color ball you have. It could be brown or black. Mine's a green spider. And now he doesn't have any eyes. So I'm going to pull out. You should have 2 googly eyes in your kit. Or if you have some googly eyes at your house, pull out 2 of them. And some of them have, some of them are self-stick. But I am going to put glue on my eyes. And I'm going to let my spider rest while he dries. Does yours look like this? Uh-oh. Hope yours isn't like mine. It just dropped an eye. There he is. And while he is drying, we're going to talk about some books that are in the library. I'm going to let him just kind of rest on his nest, his web, his new home. In the library, we have a book called Wilby the Bumblebee, and the author is Craig Smith. I read this book in our after-school program. Wilby is a yellow jacket, and he has a yellow jacket that somebody knit for him. Unfortunately, as he's busy working around the flower bed, he caught a part of his yellow jacket, which was knitted, woven together, on a thorn. Well, he didn't know it. And he kept moving around the garden, flying here and there. And what happened? He ended up unraveling that jacket. And pretty soon he had nothing on. You'll have to check out this book to find out what he's going to do about that, how we solve the problem. It's Wilby the Bumblebee. The library also has lots of books that have insects and spiders in them that you can learn about the life of a spider, what they use their web for. Do they just sleep in it? Is it just a craft for them? Is it their home? Do they catch food? What do they like to eat? Go to the library and find out more. We had a second craft in the bag, and it looks like this. It's a heavier plate, and I cut a heart out and used my hole punch and put holes all the way around the edge. You wouldn't have to have a heart. You could cut out a Christmas tree, or a star, or a circle, or a square, or a pumpkin. Whatever you would like, whatever shape you would like to cut out. I happened to do a heart, and again, I tied my yarn, and I had about 9 feet of yarn. I tied it to the center hole. If you're not comfortable with tying it in the back, you can tape it. And once again, you have a choice of how you want this to look. I have a couple samples of how people did it. Some people went all over, and some people made it look like a squares. And you can pick and choose. There's no rules. Excuse me. Let's take our yarn, and once again, what was that word we have to practice? Patience. This is a longer yarn than we had on our web. So very carefully go. I'm going to go from the front, the inside of the plate, to the outside. And I'm going to pull. And in order to make it look kind of like a squares, like a mesh, I ended up going on the next one over, the next empty one over, put the yarn through, hold it up to the top of the plate. And once again, you need a lot of patience because this yarn is long. And then I went to the next one up above it. And I pulled. And I went to the next empty hole in the back. Kind of doing them in a line. So I'm getting straight lines. Oops, I went through. Right, okay. I didn't go over. Here we go. There we go. Oops. See, Even though I've done a bunch of plates, it's really easy to get kind of tangled. So make sure you hold it up and take your time. There's no hurry. And I'm making it look like lines. Here we go. How are you doing? Maybe you want to make it look like the spider web and put kind of star and triangle shapes in it. I just thought I'd do something different. And if you look at the back, you see the different, whoops, you see it looks kind of like dashes. All right. This really is a long piece of yarn. You might need help from your older brother or sister, or even your mom or dad or your babysitter. I'm going to go to the next one, but I'm going to start going a different direction. So now I'm going to start going across. I'm going to go this way for something different. Use your imagination. Whatever makes you, whatever design that you have in your head is okay. And I'm going to go to the next hole over right here. See, so it looks like this. I'm going across, so I'm making it look kind of like a plaid. I see little squares. But if you don't see little squares, that's fine. Whatever you do to make the heart look interesting. Here we go. Now I'm double dipping. I'm going to go into a hole that already has yarn, so I can, the hole next door, so I can go across. So I'm going across to this hole right here. And I found by putting my finger there actually and pushing it through the hole, it makes it less tangled. Now I'm going to go next door to another empty hole. So instead of making a star appearance, more kind of like boxes. Here we go. And you can put it, I'm putting them in where there's already yarn. So the holes are big enough to hold more than one piece of yarn going through. Here we go. How are we doing? I hope you're not frustrated. I hope you're having as much fun as I am making this into something that could be a special, could be a picture in your room, or it could be a gift for someone. Just keep on going. Now I'm going to go up and down again because I see there's some empty holes this way. And my yarn is getting shorter. How about you? It's not as difficult to pull it through. We're getting, we're using it up. We're weaving. That's what we're doing today. Okay, here I am. I've only got a few more spots where there's no yarn, or I can make it look like a line. How are we doing? I hope you're having a good day. And as I'm making this, it's just a few days before Halloween. And what holiday does this make you think of? Do you know? What month we think of hearts? We can think of hearts all year long, but Valentine's Day is in February. We had some snow already, but I know that snow doesn't usually happen in October. That was a surprise. Okay, just for fun, I'm going to I need to use up my yarn, I'm just going to make right in the middle of this, I think I'll make a little X. You can do, I'm looking, you can make several, you can make several different designs in the same place. I think I'll put it up here. The point is we want to use up our yarn, so we can put more and more lines in it to make it more interesting. And when you think you've done enough, if you get tired, I suppose if you could cut it off and tape it. You say, I just can't do anymore. I'm worn out. It's done. Artists know when they're done. That's what you are today. You can just cut it and tape it. Let's see, where am I? I think I will put it in here. And this might be my last one. You can continue. I think I'm going to stop for the sake of time. And what I'll do is I'll cut it off and tape it. So that's what you may do, or you can keep going if you want to keep weaving longer. And I will just, I snipped it off, and I'm going to tape it. But now I'm looking at this and thinking, there could be more on this. It needs a little more of a, something more interesting. And that's where your crayons and markers come in. I have a box of crayons, and I think I am going to take my red crayon and write words around the edge. Or you could make hearts or stripes. You could make stripes around it, or polka dots or squiggly lines. But for me, I think today I'm going to put a heart right in the middle. I'm going to draw a little heart on that. There's a rim. I drew a heart, and I'm going to write the words B-E-K-I-N-D. And that says be kind. So that when I look at this picture, I'll think about those words, and I'll be a little more careful in what I say and what I do when I'm at home and when I'm at school and when I'm in the neighborhood. I'm going to put another heart and I'm just putting be kind all the way around it. Maybe you want to put love, or maybe you want to put just lots of hearts. Or like I said, you could do stripes or polka dots or a design, but it makes it look like a special frame. And I'm doing the heart and words. And maybe, you know, since we're kind of an artist, maybe someplace we should put our name. You could put your name. And now this is great to hang in your room, or give to a friend, or give to your parents or grandparents. And we have finished this plate. And we have this other plate. But it's empty. And I now have a big fat spider that needs to be tucked into his house, his dwelling, his trap. You'll have to read up and find out what he all does with his web. But right now he's resting in ours. And so enjoy your 2 plates. No longer for eating on, they're for enjoying in your room, on your wall, by your desk, wherever you want to park them. And it's been fun working with you today. Thank you for coming to Make It Wednesdays.